name is Subhadip. I lead our machine learning engineering practice at Deloitte. So what we do, there are three things that we do for our clients. Number one is about delivering scale analytics strategy. So how they can move their models from innovation lab to the production system. Number two, what we do for them is engineering the end-to-end pipeline. So it's about the experimentation. It's about validating that model with real-time data. It's about building that governance framework around it to move that model into production safely and securely. And the third thing that we do is we call it cognitive applications of data science. So what I mean by that, building AI systems and solutions. Like example would be a computer vision-based underwriting system for insurance clients, or a chatbot for our retail banking customers, or even sometimes as crazy as building a fraud detection mechanism using advanced computer vision systems. So it's not one or two models, but a set of models working on live client data and producing solutions for the client. A lot of clients build up these data science teams who are able to build some really good models that are predicting some really interesting stuff for their customers. But what unfortunately didn't happen, that those models get into production. So they were pretty much in someone's laptop, in someone's probably workstation, a good model predicting at 95% accuracy, but they're not getting into production. So when we did a survey across multiple organizations, we found that only 20% of the models are getting into production. I think that is the time when people started realizing that there is something beyond data science. I think that is the time when organizations started realizing that, okay, I cannot ask a simple data scientist to write a production grade code, which probably a software engineer will write. And that's where the whole concept of machine learning engineer, MLOps, came into the picture. So if I consider a Venn diagram with three big circles, one being data science, one being data engineers, another being data DevOps, the intersection of all of these three circles would be MLOps. So it's about the practice of moving models into production safely, securely through a pipeline, and also having a mechanism around the models which are there in production. So it's not only moving that model to production, but making sure the model, when it's generating prediction or insights, they are very much governed by a set of rules. There would be a set of guidelines, methodology, artifacts, or pipeline, which MLOps as a capability will enable. But end of the day, it has to be driven by a use case. Unfortunately, there is not only one thing. There are a few things that people get wrong. I think the first thing is about defining the MLOps, right? So what is MLOps? Is it a piece of code? Is it a platform? Is it like a capability are we talking about? Or just a set of people who does large-scale AI transformation programs? The second thing that I would say is a lot of companies get wrong is who is going to fund it? Is it going to be an IT-funded program? Is it going to be a business-funded program? Is it going to be a data science-funded program? I think that it starts with with the business, because we need to have a business use case, right? So what is the model? What is it generating, right? So what is the product? So ideal situations when the product ownership is from the business. So business is owning the product. IT is funding it because it's a large piece of technology transformation we are talking about, which has implications across the overall architecture. But the work is being delivered by or managed and delivered by the data scientist, because end of the day, the data scientist will be the closest one to really understand that pipeline. What Dataiku is doing today, launching new versions of the platform where you are going to have feature stores, where you will be able to incorporate the studios. I think that is definitely is something that you need, and along with that you need the data, and then you need some really cutting edge use cases coming from the business. So if we have all of these three things, then MLOps definitely will be the enabling factor, the enzyme or the accelerator, how we may coin it. But we do need those three other things to really make it work. Recently, we were working with one of the international bank. So they were struggling. I think most of the banks are struggling with fraud, especially during the pandemic. A lot of vulnerable customers were attacked by fraudsters across the globe. They have been developing a fraud detection system, but unfortunately, the fraudsters, as you know, are gaming the system very quickly. So the models earlier is to take from building that model, validating that model, then putting into production. The turnaround time was about 6 to 8 weeks. And that by that time the model gets into production, the fraudster already knew how to game it, and it was not yielding the results that they were looking for. And that's where we combined with platforms like Dataiku and along with the banking ecosystem to build a system where you can deploy the models in days, not weeks, and making sure the algorithms that you have in productions are picking up the latest trend. I think the next challenge, again, I don't want to coin this term, but there's a concept called AIOps. So we had data ops, we had MLOps, now AIOps. So what I think would be a typical transition or evolution of MLOps is where we still, when we are talking about MLOps capability, we still are talking about the human in the loop process. So where you have a set of people building that pipeline, maintaining that pipeline, triaging errors and issues in production. I think the next phase of evolution, that a part of it can be automated, and that's where the AI will come into picture very prominently, which has a larger role to play in terms of just looking after the model in production and making sure that it's not going off balance. This is the critical time, I would say, in terms of the evolution of data science, machine learning, AI, and MLOps will have a role to play.